Okay, let's get started on the homework. Here is 3.9, where we're going to divide using this glorious box method. Okay, then we'll go with a blue. Let's do it. So, the first question, I love it, all right? All it wants is for you to know what the box is. What's going on, all right? So what happens is we take what we want to divide, this, and we throw it into the box. This part goes inside the box, all right? And then we take what we're dividing it by, this, we put it on the side of the box. And the answer to this division problem is here. So this question is really just testing, do you understand how it works? Okay, x cubed minus 2x squared minus 19x plus 20 divided by x minus 5. We go to the box, we do the whole stuff, we end up getting this, is this, all right? So the answer is just B. It's just checking if you understand what it means. Because a lot of us, we know what to do here, but at the end we don't know what we just did. Okay, now let's actually do it. So here they want me to see x plus 3 times what equals that polynomial, which means in essence I am dividing this by this to get the answer up here. So x plus 3 is on the side. What I'm dividing goes in the box, and then the answer will be what I get up here. Now remember, the first guy goes in the first box, last guy goes in the last box, and these middle guys are complicated, okay? There was like terms involved that combined and became these guys, so we can't just go throw these guys into the boxes. We don't know how they got there. So we're gonna go one step at a time. First, I want you to do as much as you can with this until you're stuck. So if I have an x squared here and a 3 here, that makes this a 3x squared. And then if I have a 3 here and a negative 24 here, that makes this a negative 8. How can you do this even if you're like not great with multiplication and division? You can take the negative 24 and you can divide it by that 3 in your calculator and press enter, and it will give you the negative 8. Okay, so you don't need to be good at arithmetic to show me that you understand the Algebra 2 stuff that we're learning. Okay, now that I have the negative 8 here, I multiply it by x to get negative 8x right here. And this is where I'm stuck because I can't figure out what's in these boxes without that, and I can't figure out what's up there without these, so I'm stuck, okay? Basically, you guys, the x cubed that we put here and the negative 24 that we put here got us this far. So they're tapping out. And now x squared minus 14x needs to pull its weight. It's their turn to help. So I look and I see that I have a 3x squared in the box. It will combine. Remember how the like terms worked? These usually combined. And after they combine this plus whatever this is, I'm supposed to get a positive 1x squared. So that means this had to be a negative 2x squared. Why? Because 3x squared plus negative 2x squared is positive 1x squared, which is what I have in the answer, okay? Again, you don't need to be good with arithmetic to figure this out. You can take the one that you want, where should we write this? And subtract it from what we have to get what we need. That negative 2. 1 minus what we had is the negative 2. So what we want minus what we already have will give us what we need. Okay? Now that this is a negative 2x squared and there's already an x there, this must be a negative 2x. And I'm like officially done here, you guys, because remember, this at the top is the answer and I already got it. However, it's not a bad idea to multiply these to get this right here just to be sure you did everything right. Negative 6x minus 8x is negative 14x. That gives me the confirmation that I've done a stellar job. And now we'll move on. So here's the x plus 3 times x squared minus 2x minus 8 is going to equal that. All right? Okay, let's look at this one. In this one, we're going to divide negative 2x plus 4. So negative 2x plus 4 divided into some unknown polynomial here. And then we want it to equal whatever this ends up being. So this is just like this is a weird problem, all right? They just want you to play the game and get used to the box. So if that's an x squared and that's a 4, here's a 4x squared. 4 times 2x is 8x, we got that. 4 times 5 is 20, got it. 2x times negative 2x is negative 4x squared. Negative 2x times 5 is a negative 10x. And now that means that after I combine my like terms, which is this one and then this one, I will get the polynomial here. So this is negative 2x cubed. 4x squared minus 4x squared, they cancel, so there's no x squared term. 8x minus 10x is negative 2x plus 20. And what does that mean? That means that what's inside the box divided by what's on the side equals what's on the top. Let's write that down. What's inside the box divided by what's on the side equals what's on the top. And the side and the top could be switched. What's inside the box divided by what's on top is equal to what's on the side also. This was, if you were in class and you were paying attention, what I demonstrated by showing you that 5 times 4 equals 20. But that also means that 20 divided by 5 is 4. And it also means that 20 divided by 4 is 5. So the same is true here. This divided by this is this, but also this divided by that is that. Okay, moving along. Write each function as a product of 2 factors. Fancy for write it for me like that, with 2 parentheses, 2 factors. Okay, if I know x cubed minus 3x squared minus 10x plus 24, and I know that x minus 4 is a factor, so I put that on the side. And now my goal is to divide this polynomial by this polynomial, okay, which we learned in the next section we could do with long division. However, this box is fantastic. Put the first guy in the first box and put the last guy in the last box, and then start just filling in as much as you can. So if that's x and that's x cubed, this must have been x squared. And then if that's x squared and that's negative 4, this is negative 4x squared. And then if that's a negative 4 and that's a 24, well, then this is a negative 6. Again, you can just say 24 divided by negative 4, press enter, and your calculator will tell you that negative 6. And now that that's negative 6 times x, this is negative 6x. And here I am stuck. Okay, I got this far because of x cubed and 24. Those guys are done now. They're going to go take a nap. And it's time for these guys to help us out. So I have negative 4x squared, but what I want is negative 3x squared, which means I must have added a positive 1x squared, okay? Again, what you have minus what you want minus what you have will equal what you need. So what I want is a negative, what I want is a negative 3. What I have is a negative 4, so minus a negative 4 will give me a positive 1, which is what I need, and that's what I'll put in. So these are little tricks, as I don't want arithmetic to prevent you from showing me the Algebra 2 concepts that you know. Okay, if that's x squared and that's x, then this is x. X times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. And here I am. I'm all good. What does this mean? They wanted me to write it as a product of two factors. That means that x minus 4 times x squared plus x minus 6 equals all of this. And they're nice to just say 2 because I can factor this guy now. Okay? With a positive 3 and a negative 2, I can factor this. So I could actually write this as x minus 4, x plus 3, x minus 2. Oh, you can't even see what I just did. But yeah, you don't need to do it for this problem. Don't stress about it. I just want to point it out because I want us to get used to the fact that after we factored or after we found two factors, that doesn't mean we cannot keep factoring. Okay, here I am trying to divide this guy by that guy. So I'll put the first one in the first box and I'll put the last one in the last box and I get to work. There's already a 3. I only need an x squared right there to achieve that, which makes this a negative 5x squared. And if this is negative 5, then this is negative 15. Again, remember, 75 divided by negative 5 will get you the answer. And then negative 15 times 3x is negative 45x. And now these two have brought us as far as they can. It's time for these two to help. Now what I have is a negative 5 and what I want is a positive 1. So I need to add 6x squared. All right, some of you can just see it, but if you can't, take what you want. Take what you want, which is a positive 1, subtract it from what you have, which is a negative 5, and you will get what you need. 1 minus negative 5 is the same as 1 plus 5, which is 6. We get positive 6 right there, 6x squared. Now that that's a 6x squared, I just need a 2x right there. And then 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. And negative 10x minus 45x is minus 55x. This proves that I did it right. And now I can write this as 3x minus 5 times x squared plus 2x minus 15. Which, again, you guys, this factors further. You don't need to do it right now. But it feels wrong to leave this right now when later I might expect you to keep going. So what I got, factors, I can multiply to make negative 15 with a positive 5 and a negative 3. And positive 5 and negative 3 will make the 2. You could go through this x method with the box, and do the whole method if you want, but that's what it becomes. Okay, here we are. Oh my gosh, you guys, number 6, what a problem. This is fantastic, 6 and 7. Great question. Because the whole point of all this is to be able to do this, okay? We want to be able to use factors to actually turn that into something concrete, like a graph, okay? So here is g of x, this big function. And look at this, in number 7, they expect me to identify the graph of it. Does that sound insane or what, you guys? But you've done it. You can do this right now, which is just so impressive and amazing to me. Here's what you need to do. You need to take x and negative 2, the factor. We're going to divide it into this big old thing. Because when we divide something big by something, we get something smaller, more manageable. So I'm going to put the x cubed in the first box and the 48 in the last box, and I'm going to divide this out. So this must be x squared, and x squared times that's negative 2x squared. And then negative 2 to make the 48 must have been a negative 24 right there, which means this is negative 24x. Here I am stuck. Okay, you guys, I did do this fast, but it's only because I've done it a few times for you guys already and explained and showed you all the tricks. So if you are thinking this is way too fast, go back and rewatch these ones. Okay, now I look at this positive 3x squared and I have a negative 2x squared, which means I have to add a 5x squared to go with this negative 2x squared and give me the 3x squared. Again, if that was too fast, look back at the old questions. And then here I have a 5x. And then 5x times negative 2 is negative 10x. And negative 10x minus 24x is negative 34x. This is fantastic. Okay, so that means... Okay, what I just did means that this big old function is really just x minus 2 times x squared plus 5x minus 24. Which remember on these two questions when I insisted that you factor further? Here's why. This factors further and I need to do it, all right? So I need to check and see what multiplies to negative 24 while at the same time adding to 5, and that's going to be an 8 and a negative 3. 8 and negative 3. So that means that this thing factors all the way to be x minus 2, x plus 8, and x minus 3. That's what I get when I factor it all the way out. Which means now, looking at the graph, oh no, wait, we're not done there. We're on number 6. Let's figure out all the factors. Well, here's one, here's another, and here's the last one. So this one, not that one. Ooh, this one. And that's it. There's only 3 factors. That's not a factor. That's not a factor. We're done here. Okay, now let's look at the graph. If you were thinking, well, g of x is a cubic polynomial and it's positive, so I'll just look at the end behavior. They unfortunately gave you all of them with the same end behavior. So that doesn't help you figure it out. I actually spoke to a student earlier who very impressively told me, well, it can't be this one and it can't be this one because this suggests that the y-intercept is at 48 and these guys have negative y-intercepts. Absolutely right. So we can, just based on our prior old stuff that we know, eliminate, but we are still down to be between these two. Now looking at this, only judging based off multiplicity, I would also eliminate this guy. This little parabolic 0 right here that looks like a parabola suggests one of my things should have a multiplicity of bigger than 1, which none of them do. So that eliminates this, but let's go verify why this one is correct. I should see an x-intercept at 2, at negative 8, and at positive 3. So at 2, did I do something wrong with negative 8? Is it negative 4? Did I do this wrong? Eight times 3 is 24. 8 plus negative 3 is 5. I don't see a mistake. This is 48. And with a negative 2, this has to be negative 24. Why do they have one at negative 4 instead of negative 8? Oh my god, and then they have one at 6. They have 6 and 4. 6 and 4 don't make 5. Is that 5 wrong? Am I wrong with the 5? I got x squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. I needed a 3x squared. So I needed 5x squared to make the 3x squared. And if that's a 5x squared and that's an x, that's a 5x. But they got... Wait, did I eliminate one of the correct answers? Look at this one. Negative 8. Negative... No. It shouldn't be negative 2. It should be positive 2. So this one's wrong. Negative 8. I don't know what's happening. I see some partially correct answers, you guys. That one's got the negative 8 that I think should be there. But I don't see the rest. You guys, I'm gonna check the answer key, but I am convinced that they just made a boo-boo by putting -4 and +6 when it should have been -8 and +3. What a situation. Let's go see. Let's hope I'm still signed in to look at the answer key without having to sign back in. Answer key. They said it's the first one. But it doesn't make any sense. So they completely agreed, you guys, with this, this, and this. But then now on their graph, they're saying it's this. Which, you know what? Let's do it together. I want you guys to see it too. Let's investigate. We're on this journey together here. Let's go to Desmos graphing calculator and put in this g of x that they're talking about, which is x to the third plus 3x squared minus 34x plus 48. Look at this. -8, +2, and +3. -8, +2, +3. Is this what we got? Let's go back real quick. Yeah, that's what we got. Look at them wasting our time. Okay, we were right, you guys. Circle the correct graph. It's none of these. None of these graphs are correct. Okay? What is correct is the third one, the one where at -8, at +2, and at +3, we've got x-intercepts, and then it looks like that. Okay, I'm not annoyed. I'm not annoyed at all. Okay, you guys, let's keep going. Let's keep going. We made 0 mistakes, all right? Don't let the time it took to investigate and figure out that we were right shake your confidence, all right? We did all of this. We were good. Okay, here comes number 8. Okay, this is that crazy question, right? The critical thinking one right before the spiral review. Here's what they want. They want me to use the box and do this and fill in numbers, whatever numbers I want, just not 0. So, okay. They want x plus something, so x plus something, to multiply and become something x cubed plus something x squared plus something x plus something. Okay, and then they want my final answer to be just these two terms, like an x to the 4th plus something. So let's just, let's go figure out if we can put some stuff to some of these somethings. So first off, I can keep this x cubed right here. I could keep it at 1 so that it can be what it is right now, because that looks nice. And x times x cubed is x to the 4th. And that already gets me this. So if this is a 1, I'm already set right there. Okay, my final answer is going to have a 1x to the 4th. It didn't say I can't reuse any numbers, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, so then over here, it seems like I got my pick. I could write whatever number I want. I don't know what you're gonna pick. I'm gonna try to pick something similar to what people might pick. So how about a 2? I already used 1. So let's go 2 right here. That means x plus 2, 2. Well, if there's a 2 here, then 2 times 2x cubed. I'm sorry, 2 times x cubed is 2x cubed. But look at the final answer. Does it have an x cubed term? It sure doesn't. So something needs to wipe out that 2x cubed, and it can only happen with a negative 2x cubed. They'll wipe each other out. So then if that is negative 2x cubed, then I need a negative 2 right here to multiply this by this and get this, which means in front of this is a negative 2. Now that there's a negative 2x squared there, multiplied by the 2 is a negative 4x squared. But looking at the answer, there is no x squared term, which means I need to wipe out that negative 4x squared with a positive 4x squared. So that means this needs to be a 4x, so that 4x times x is 4x squared. And then 4x times 2 becomes 8x. But there's no x term in my final answer. So I need this to be a negative 8x. To cancel that out. And if that's a negative 8x, then this is a negative 8. So this is a negative 8. And then negative 8 times 2 is a negative 16. Final answer is this. And that's just because I started out choosing a 1 here and a 2 here, and this is how it turned out. If you chose a different number here and a different number here, you'd get a totally different answer, okay? You guys, this division spiral review, I'm not going to do it, okay? But they're trying to have you practice long division because that's where we're headed next.